Hi, my name's Christina Rader, and I'm going to share about a few of my favorite things for better decision making. These come from the book Decisive by Chip and Dan Heath. So, the first thing we're going to start with is what's one of the biggest problems people have with decision making? And it's something called the confirmation bias. With the confirmation bias, we seek out information that confirms our initial belief. So, we can be totally wrong and never discover it. How do we fix this? Well, we reality test your assumptions. And I'm going to give you a couple examples of how you can do that to both help you with class and your career in the future. How do you reality test your assumptions? Well, one thing you can do is called consider the opposite. Think of reasons your assumption might not be true. One way you can do that is ask disconfirming questions. So, as an example, a bunch of researchers at Wharton did a study. And they brought a bunch of people in who volunteered to be in their study, and they said, "Hey, we have this iPod for you to sell. By the way, it sometimes deletes all the music." And then they had other people role play buying the iPod. And if the person just asked, "What can you tell me about it?" only 8% of the sellers disclosed that there was a problem. But if they said, "What problems does it have?" 89% disclosed. So if you go in assuming that things you buy are going to work, you may find out later that they don't. So how might this apply in your life? Well, let me give you an example for class. When you're writing a paper, ask about your thesis. What would make my thesis untrue? And then look for evidence against your thesis. And the same idea goes for problem sets in other courses. So ask, how might my analysis or my approach be inaccurate or insufficient? Now, let me give you one other way you can reality test your assumptions. It's something called OOCH. And this is a word that's apparently common in parts of the American South, and it means to do small experiments to test your hypothesis. In other words, dip a toe in the water before you dive in head first. Okay. And so let me give you a career example on this. Imagine you're thinking, man, I'd love to be a lawyer. I think I'd be a great lawyer. How can you test those assumptions? Well, one thing you could do is you could go follow a lawyer around for a day and see if you like it. That's something called a job shadow. Or you could invest even less time. You could talk to a lawyer on the phone about what do they like about their job? Who does well in this job? That's called an informational interview. And the Career Center can help set you up with those experiences. And I highly recommend it. Anyone who's ever taken a class with me has been required to do an informational interview or a job shadow in most cases. So I wish you all of the best of luck with your decision making and watch out for that confirmation bias. Bye bye.